Okay, if I get far enough back east, I'll change the degree, the house, etc. And the ironic thing is when I landed, literally when I landed in Nutley, New Jersey, my face blew up like a balloon and I had Bell's palsy.
Oh my God, yeah.
So
But
my
you,
face
so
actually was
you,
paralyzed.
you still got it, but you
I
didn't get it.
softened
Like
it.
you weren't in the wheelchair.
Exactly. I thought if I'd stayed in Nebraska, it was going to
Got
be like my whole body. But
it. Right.
somehow, yeah, literally, I landed, in New Jersey. My face goes, and
Mm-hmm.
my face was paralyzed for 2 months. So
Mm-hmm.
I kept zapping it with electricity and taking supplements and, I mean, really visualizing. I'm like, I am not going to have a paralyzed face. So I kept working on it
Yeah.
and got it back. And again, even that, by going to New Jersey when I did, I also was not only able to soften it, but I was able to change my fourth house, which is how it ends up. So just that's what I mean about the power of
So
our
when I get
knowledge.
that transit, I should go someplace where it won't be real.
It wasn't just transit, it was in my progress too.
Oh, it
Because
was
the
in your
transit, yeah, you gotta do the
the
natal
progression.
progress transits. Otherwise, the transits are just blips. Major events are gonna be in your progressions, not the transits. The transits just kick it off. That's it. They just kick
Well,
it off.
that's interesting because I looked at my transits the other day and I saw that I have the eclipse did go through that one too.
Hmm.
Because Neptune,
It triggers events. Yeah.
Scorpio now as my rising. Neptune's in the first, and it was squared Mars, a wide square, 20 degrees, I think Mars was, and 24, because my Neptune's retrograde natally. So I think it was like 24. So I think it was the same exact degree in my first house. So
Hmm.
I saw that and I was like, okay, definitely the same kind of access I continually keep get. Me, the public, me,
Hmm.
partnerships, me, the way other people see me. Uh, and these are all things that I feel so much more comfortable with now. Maybe
Right.
because Saturn in my name. I'm trying to figure it out myself. That's why I'm like going off with
That's
you a
why we got
little
to
bit.
talk to each other. No,
Yeah,
this what
I
I'm.
was
You're
going off
exactly
a little
right.
bit with it because I'm thinking to myself, that okay, Neptune in the first obviously can trigger off my psychic abilities, which
Can.
it can, it progression wise. I have Jupiter in the 12th, but it's unaspected. Well, I think it might be biquintal or something, but I'm not gonna.
Well,
I don't
let's talk
remember.
about the Neptune though. And this is why.
I'm
Okay,
just saying that, I'm looking at it like what it is right now in my own identity, that now I'm like back into full blown wanting to get into my astrology, wanting to get into these are all things that, like coming back to the person that younger me that, wanting to dig into something.
well, see, now
Where,
you hit on why I really wanted to somehow. I'll have to do it next week. This is what we hit
yeah, I
on
know.
because I'm going to give an example. And again, newer astrologers can fall into this. You're seeing Neptune in the first. I'm hearing you're automatically thinking it's you. It might not be you.
Right.
Neptune could be your husband. It could be a parent. It could be, I mean, it could be your dog. I mean, how do
Mm.
we know it's
I
you,
understand
first
what
of
you're
all?
saying
You know,
because it's progressed, and like you're saying, when I look at my progressions, right, and I saw that
there's
it
a way to tell if
that it
something is
progressed
you, right?
to.
First of all, because you don't own everything. In other words, like, um,
Gotcha.
something that's coming in may not, okay, when I was young at this, I would see, like, for example, I'd see a lot of money coming. And then all of a sudden, my best friend got a huge check and I got zip. And I'm going, huh? Or I'd see pregnancy. I didn't get pregnant, but my best friend got pregnant. And I'm going, huh? That's when I began to
Right.
understand, wait a minute, and that's where Ivy Jacob Goldstein was very important to me to see that we have all these people and situations and our business and our pet. All of these things are in our chart. We've got to decipher out what's us, first of all, or what's them. Like, what's
You
my
know
daughter?
what? You're absolutely right, because when I had Pluto go over my moon, 25 degrees Capricorn, Pluto, 3 times because it retrograde. And
Mm,
I thought, oh my goodness, I could lose my mother. I could lose my father. I mean, he's more nurturing
possible.
than she was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I go through all these things. And and then and that was actually the kickoff, I think, of like really things at the time. I think there may have even been a lunar eclipse at that time, around that time at some point. Um, and I remember hearing from my old neighborhood where I had raised my son and had really a lot of friendships and connections, they were all starting to die.
Yeah.
That's what happened. It was the shedding of the old life, in a way, of
Hmm.
that. It was a total transformation that happened. And here I was, kind of remote viewing it in a sense,
Hmm.
because it wasn't necessarily anyone close to me, in my immediate family, my husband, that was that. But we did hear that Joe's mother had pancreatic cancer, and she passed away when I told my husband, that is, I said, you got to start exactly what you did.
But see, you hit on, you have to identify who. Now,
Yeah.
first of all, it's
He
who.
was motherly, but it was from other people's stuff.
Yeah,
What,
because
right.
sometimes I'll see things, for example, just as an example, I have Jupiter
I
ruling
always
my
wanted
fifth
to know what
house.
that was. Yeah.
Well,
But yeah,
there's a way, and that's why I'm okay. Next week, I'm going to figure out how to show you how to
okay.
tell who it is. First of all, you've
I
got to
agree with
identify
that.
who you're looking at because it may not be you. And like, just an example, my daughter is my fifth house, of course, which is Pisces, and she is a Pisces, but it's Jupiter. Now, granted, is she Jupiter or is she Neptune? Now, I've learned from tracking both of them long enough to know that Jupiter is her in my chart. It's not necessarily me, but if something, say, is afflicted on Jupiter, I know I got a problem with her. And, but that's because I know she is that Jupiter because it rules my fifth. Okay. And the same now, um, one thing, give you an example, like we know that Uranus, for example, is at 27 Taurus, which
Yes.
I have Mars at 29 Taurus in my seventh. So I got
Mm.
Uranus right smack on my Mars.
Yeah, you're
Now
gonna be.
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
now that, because I'm getting at why I started doing this. Now that's squaring my natal Pluto at 4 Virgo in the 10th. Now, 4 Virgo is what they call the Widowmaker or death. Okay, now I'm looking at a
Well,
pretty
that's
strong aspect, that 29 Taurus squaring the Widowmaker in the 10th. I mean, this
I
could be
have
a problem
Jupiter
for me.
at 4 degrees
Here's the thing. I got a Scorpio ascendant. Mars and Pluto could be me. I mean, because that's my ruler in the chart. So I'm looking at, okay, this is me. That's a really violent, dangerous aspect. Now, so what am I doing? I'm starting true crime psychics. I'm taking on true crime cases. And I'm doing that for my own survival because I'm going, if I don't deflect this energy off another way, what am I looking? Yeah, I could probably keel over dead with this kind of thing. I mean, that's a
or
very
you
violent,
could.
dangerous aspect, right?
Yeah,
I could pick,
but could you be the one to be violent also? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's good to
well,
have, I'm just curious as to what the difference
oh,
is.
that crossed my mind. Like, can I
Yeah.
deflect this? Of course I'm going, can I deflect this? Maybe I am going to keel over dead. Maybe my neighbor who's crazy is going to come stalk me and kill me because I do have a crazy neighbor. And so, and he
No,
does
I
scare
mean,
me.
like, could you be the person who would have to violently defend yourself or something?
Possibly.
My point of,
Oh,
like, would
exactly.
it
Yeah.
be you actually having to hurt someone? How do you decipher?
How do you
Some people,
decipher it? And
yeah,
that's again why I
how do
love
you?
Ivy. Ivy brought up if somebody is going to physically attack you and injure you, that is going to show up on your body.
Okay.
And she said, so if you want to know if it's really going to hurt you, like put you in the hospital, you have to look at that. which would be the sixth house for your health, 12th
Okay.
house for the hospital. So yeah, I'm looking at my 6th and 12th. Am I seeing, and of course Saturn rules the body. What's going on with my Saturn? Okay,
Right.
well, I've got Jupiter right now. Jupiter is at 15.
Cancer.
Jupiter is at what, 15
15
Cancer
Cancer.
right now?
Mhm.
Yeah, that's opposing my Saturn. So I got Jupiter protecting my Saturn actually right now. So, but also
That's
Saturn to
been
Jupiter
my
means I'm
saving.
finally losing some weight. So
Right.
I am losing weight because of the Saturn Jupiter, and that's also hitting my ascendant. But I look at my ascendant. Do I have anything looking like it's hurting my ascendant? Do I have anything hurting my body? Do I have anything putting me in the hospital? No, I don't see any of that. So
Yeah.
I do see, oh, I can deflect this off into starting a true crime
Because of
podcast where
the
we're talking
seventh
about,
house.
yeah, murders and traffic. So I can push this energy in a more positive direction. But
That's
if I don't do that, I am worried how it would express itself otherwise. You see what I'm saying? But
yes.
also that tells me it's
That,
time. I'm sitting there going, okay, my head, should I really start a true crime podcast after all these years? Because I haven't done that kind of thing for 30 years. So my head's like, and then I'm like,
well,
no, it's time.
I think you definitely have the ability. You have enough stories to even, put your, even your past first to, put your past out there would be a definite that, and then move into, current things. And then, you're always going to be going back and forth. I mean, look at the way you and I have going back and forth.
Well,
Uh,
you know what happened? I don't know if you've
so
ever heard
you
of
get,
Joan.
be
Things,
nice.
well, here's an idea I have, and I think you'll love this idea. I think you'll get a kick out of this idea. You too, Riki, is that
Yeah.
um, I don't know if you guys remember or heard of Joan Quigley. Joan Quigley was exposed. There was a big scandal when she was exposed to being the Reagan's astrologer when, Reagan was in the White House. And there was a huge scandal about them having, an astrologer. Okay.
Yes,
Now,
yes, yes. Well, he
okay.
also didn't he have a private
It was
inauguration the night before because his
absolutely, she
moon was
timed
made, of
everything.
course.
She
Okay.
timed his inauguration so he wouldn't get assassinated because he
Mhm.
was coming up under a lot of assassination planets. So she deflected that by changing his inauguration. She timed his meetings. She timed his flights. She timed all kinds of things. And a lot of people
Yeah,
actually credit her for how he got through that term without getting killed, because she was timing everything. But when it came out and, hit the news, there
I
was all this
see.
scandal. Okay. And think about it. What if, do you think Trump wants to get exposed for having an astrologer? So what
Oh,
I found,
I was
well,
going to ask you that because I think they have like the
oh, they
pay
do. Trump does have one. But here's their
because
problem is that
the
they,
Mercury.
well, this is the thing. Now, up until a certain point, okay, they had
Mhm.
private astrologers and consultants. But now, as you can tell with technology, people are getting a hold of all kinds of tapes. So this is what I've been hearing back is that these people at a very top level, okay, believe in it, want it, use it, but they are afraid of it getting exposed. Okay, so I've been talks back and forth. And then I brought up, I said, well, let me ask you this. What if, because they also do things so they can have, what is it, plausible deniability. I say, what if we were able to create like a board or a blog or a forum or something like that where we had a group of really talented people, right,
Yes,
that could weigh in on these heavy decisions, you know, and you were just a subscriber to this.
right.
Okay. Like,
I
and then
understand.
because it's behind a paywall, if we make it expensive enough, not everybody's going to get behind that paywall, right?
Right,
So, you're just a member, or you could even be logged in, say, under a pseudonym. That's what I'm hearing they want. And that includes detectives. Because think about a detective on a murder case right now. If it got out that he got his information from an astrologer, could blow the case. Totally, that's grounds for appeal. And I
right.
see that with my legal background. However, if he is John Doe and he happens to subscribe to this, forum where all these astrologers are weighing in on a case, he can get his information in a way that doesn't affect the case. So
That's
that's what
true.
I'm working towards doing right
I
now.
think that's an excellent, excellent idea, and I think you definitely have the mind to do it.